I already stated that there's this problem with hierarchical databases. A. And B. I heard when I was kidnapped somebody who was taking notes, probably trying to get credit as part of some lab, that I was demonstrating or exhibiting signs of clairvoyance. I hadn't heard that word in a long time. When you have people that are uniquely empathic and you psychopathologize them because you're trying to justify stealing from them in order to give their gifts, their skills, and their unique analytical capabilities over to patents for weapons designers, they might have a way of hearing you and figuring it out. Do you think it would be any different for people trying to abuse the legal process and making it unique test case examples and try to run people all over the place in order to test out theories that they actually personally don't have the human capital to do themselves? I said this. That people that are part of an established bar association and or a law firm have different political and judicial capital considerations than someone who is not, including someone that would be representing themselves in a legal proceeding. If there were to be an honest, actual consideration of the implications of being forced to represent oneself pro se, and then balance that with the constitutional protections, including which have already made it to the level of the Supreme Court within the last 5 years, you would be able to actually get at these sort of situations. And rather than being so self righteous and exploitative, you might actually be able to develop a different consideration of collegiality and professionalism, which would then also reinforce the imperative for some form of internal control against abuses by people with whom you're associated professionally. Otherwise, what I see over and over again is the legal definition of communist organization. Now, something happened a while ago. In my ignorance, I happened upon something that they discarded. It's this big book. You see this big book? It's a big book. See it? It used to be in a library. They got rid of it. It is a Harper's Latin Dictionary. Freund's Latin German Lexicon. A New Latin Dictionary. It's old. It was copyrighted in 1879. This particular printing is from 1907. Pro. Archaic, collate form, posse and postmarium. Siaponmo, from posino. Root in a Sanskrit prep pra before as in prothomus first. Latin pre, prior, priscus, etc. Per hold ab form of which pre is the loc, before in front of. See, I bet that sounds pretty funny. I don't know how to speak Latin. I don't know what these archaic abbreviations mean, so I can't even say the full word in English. It's funny, isn't it? And transform for, with the idea of protection, substitution, or proportion. 4. With the idea of protection, substitution, or proportion. Pro. Say. Let's see. Is there a word for say in here? I did this before. I just need to remind myself. It could take a second. I'm sorry. Say. Said. Sine. Prep insepar. For sine. Without. As sepono. To lay aside. Aside. By itself. To provide protection. By itself. To provide a protection by itself. Is the problem that none of you would stand up for each other because none of you can stand up for yourselves? because now that's the case. You understand? You've spent plenty of time trying to exploit and humiliate women in domestic violence shelters, mothers that were forced to drug their children, and you keep trying to run my little pony ass all over the place to see, well, how valiantly is she going to stand up for all these other people we're going to brand? We've run out of the people. What we have now is the apparatus